Camp Ridgewell was always alive with noise, boots hitting gravel, radios crackling, machinery humming. But inside the medical tent, the quietest person was always Nurse Amina. She moved like a shadow. Soft steps, calm breathing, not a single sound wasted. Most soldiers barely noticed her unless she was standing right beside them. She didn't talk much. When someone greeted her, she answered with a small nod. When others laughed, she gave a polite smile but never joined in. Her silence made people assume things, that she was shy, inexperienced, or too gentle for a military zone. Some even thought she was scared of chaos. But she never corrected them. She simply focused on her work, cleaning instruments, checking vitals, organizing supplies with perfect precision. Yet something about her always felt different. Her eyes were sharp, scanning everything in the room. Her hands never trembled, even during the most stressful procedures. And whenever distant gunfire echoed across the valley, she didn't flinch like the others. Instead, she froze for a second, as if remembering something only she could see. Still, no one looked deeper. Except one man. Marcus Hawley, a Navy SEAL recovering from a shoulder wound, watched her in silence. SEALs learn to read people, their eyes, their stance, their history hidden between breaths. And from the very first day, he felt it. Amina's calm wasn't the calm of innocence. It was the calm of someone who had already seen too much. He noticed the scars she kept hidden under rolled-down sleeves. The way she instinctively checked exits. The way she tied medical knots faster than trained combat medics. Everyone else saw a quiet nurse. Marcus. Hawley saw something else. A story she was trying very hard to bury. The tension around Amina didn't explode all at once. It grew slowly, fed by whispers and careless jokes. When a group of newly arrived soldiers joined the base, they scanned the medical tent and instantly labeled her as the weak link. She was small, quiet, gentle in the way she moved. To them, she looked like someone who belonged in paperwork, not a war zone. It started with small things. A sarcastic comment when she dropped a clipboard. A mocking smile when she asked someone to sanitize their hands. Someone blocking her path accidentally, just to see her step back politely. Amina absorbed all of it with silence. Her face never changed, but behind her calm eyes, something tightened, a familiar sting she had learned to hide long ago. The worst moment came during a supply shortage. The tent was short on tourniquets, and Amina instructed a group of soldiers to prepare makeshift ones using fabric strips. Instead of listening, they laughed. "We don't take orders from you," one said. "You probably don't even know battlefield wounds," another added. Amina froze for half a second. Her jaw shifted, barely, but Marcus Hawley caught it. He had been standing close enough to see the insult land like a blade. He watched her inhale slowly, burying a reaction she clearly didn't want to show. The argument escalated when one soldier brushed past her roughly and muttered, "You're better suited for admin duty. We need real medics here." Amina lowered her gaze and stepped aside. But Marcus saw something flash across her face, something fierce. Something wounded, something she had fought too. Barry, everyone else saw a timid nurse. Being pushed aside. Marcus knew the truth. The soldiers weren't insulting a weak woman, they were provoking. A storm they didn't understand. The night was supposed to be routine, quiet, predictable. But just before midnight, a thunderous blast shook the ground beneath Camp Ridgewell. Seconds later, frantic radio chatter filled the air. A convoy had been ambushed on the northern ridge, and multiple soldiers were critically wounded. Within minutes, the medical tent transformed from calm silence into chaos. Stretchers rolled in one after another. Voices overlapped. Someone screamed for bandages, another for oxygen. The junior medics, the same ones who mocked Amina earlier, trembled as they tried to assist. Their hands shook. Instruments fell. Panic spread like wildfire, but Amina changed. Her expression sharpened, her posture straightened, and a calm intensity replaced her quiet demeanor. She stepped forward, eyes sweeping the room with the precision of a battlefield commander. Triage stations, now. Red tags on chest and abdominal wounds. Move. Her voice boomed across the tent, strong, commanding, unmistakably trained. Everyone froze. Then they moved. Amina darted between patients with incredible speed. She applied pressure to arterial bleeds, performed needle decompressions, stabilized collapsed lungs, and improvised solutions with the confidence of someone who had done this under enemy fire before. She worked faster than even the doctors, faster than any medic present. Her gloves turned crimson, but her hands never shook. Marcus Hall watched her in stunned silence. He recognized those movements, the battlefield instincts, the calm under pressure, the accuracy of someone who had saved lives in places far worse than this tent. Every motion told a buried story. The soldiers who once doubted her now followed her orders without hesitation. Fear slowly turned into admiration as they saw her pull injured men back from the edge of death. In one explosive night. The quiet nurse no one respected became the backbone of the entire tent. A leader, a warrior, a force they had never seen coming. When the last wounded soldier was stabilized and the medical tent finally grew quiet, everyone stood frozen, exhausted, shaken, and overwhelmed by what they had just witnessed. The same men who once mocked Amina were now staring at her with disbelief, whispering among themselves, "How did she know all that? Where did she learn those techniques? No nurse moves like that." Amina avoided their eyes. She washed the blood off her hands slowly, almost painfully, like someone trying to scrub away memories that never fully disappear. She kept her sleeves pulled down, her shoulders small, her voice silent again, trying to slip back into the background. But Marcus Halle didn't let her. He stepped forward, his tone calm but carrying the authority of someone who had seen the truth. "You all need to understand something," he began, his gaze sweeping across the room. The soldiers turned to him, waiting. Amina isn't just a nurse. She was part of Phantom Shield, the most elite combat rescue unit we ever had. The kind that goes behind enemy lines where even SEALs hesitate, just to pull out one wounded soldier. Silence hit the tent like a punch. Marcus continued, his voice softer now. She wasn't a medic in safety. She was a medic in hell. Her team saved hundreds. She saved dozens by herself. She didn't freeze under pressure tonight because she's brave. She froze because it reminded her of what she lost. He told them about the mission 2 years ago, the ambush, the smoke-filled night. The entire unit wiped out except Amina. She carried the guilt like a wound no medicine could heal. The soldiers lowered their eyes, their earlier arrogance collapsing into shame. They finally understood the truth. The quiet nurse they dismissed wasn't weak. She was a survivor of battles far worse than any of them had imagined. Morning arrived slowly, washing the camp in a pale golden light that felt almost too calm after the chaos of the night before. Word spread quickly, not about the ambush, not about the casualties, but about her. Soldiers who once overlooked Amina now waited outside the medical tent, not for treatment, but for the chance to face her with honesty they should have shown from the start. One by one, they approached her. A private who laughed at her earlier now stood stiffly, unable to meet her eyes. "We were wrong," he whispered. Another stepped forward, holding the very fabric strip she taught him to use. "You saved my buddy last night. If you hadn't yelled at me to move, he wouldn't be here." Amina listened silently, her expression soft, humble, yet there was a different look in her eyes. Something lighter, something that hadn't been there for a long time. A hint of release. But she didn't seek praise. She didn't want admiration. She simply nodded and said the same 4 words every time. "Just do better next time." Later, while she restocked supplies, Marcus stepped into the tent. Unlike the others, he didn't come to apologize. He came because he understood her silence better than anyone else. You know, he said quietly, you don't have to hide anymore. Not what you've done. Not who you were. Amina paused, her hand still over a tray of instruments. She didn't look up immediately. Her voice, when it came, was soft but steadier than before. I wasn't hiding from them, she said. I was hiding from myself. Marcus nodded. He had seen that truth in her eyes from the beginning, the guilt, the weight of surviving what others didn't. But now, after saving so many lives again, something inside her had shifted. She wasn't the same shadow who worked silently in the corner. When the next emergency call sounded across the camp, she automatically reached for her gear. But this time, she didn't walk alone. The entire medical team moved behind her, not out of fear, not out of duty, but out of respect. Amina stepped outside, the morning sun catching the small scar on her wrist, a reminder of who she once was. But she didn't pull her sleeve down. She let it show. For the first time in years, she wasn't hiding her past. She was carrying it forward, not as a burden, but as strength. And everyone around her finally saw her for who she truly was. A warrior, a healer, a survivor, a leader they should have never doubted.